Maniacs.
GeoGearHeads.
Welcome back to episode 193 of the GeoGearHeads. This is our 37th Randomize show. For those of you new to the show, we talk about geolocation gaming, usually geocaching, and a bunch of other cool tech stuff. But tonight is especially cool because we talk about a whole bunch of topics, most of them from our audience, the fellow GeoGearHeads. And we've got a special guest on again, as usual. So I'm Daryl W4 with my usual co-host, the Bad Cop, and special guest, Walt Grogan.
Now, Daryl, I want to know, when you get to Randomize 50, are we going to drop the Roman numerals just like Super Bowl L?
No, I think we have to keep the Roman numerals just to confuse the fellow podcasters.
Okay. And co-host.
Yeah, well...
I think once we hit 40, it'll be fine. I'll get it, but, when we start getting, 8 to 10 characters long, trying to figure out what a episode number is, that challenges my little brain.
I don't think we're going to survive that long.
I was going to say the same thing. I think you're going to be okay, Chris.
Oh, good. Whew.
You're probably only going to go about 3 characters. I think you're going to be okay. Maybe 4. 4 characters. I think you're going to be fine.
Because right now we're at 6 for 38 or 37. I mean,
it'll drop back down
38.
For a little bit.
Okay, good. Whew.
Yeah.
That's like math in my head. I got out of school, so I didn't have to do that anymore.
Well, there are a bunch of apps that can help you out with things like Roman numeral conversions.
Oh,
sure.
I know, but there are apps that do everything. I don't have them all. Now, well, does my audio sound a little better tonight, Daryl, than it did last week?
Just a little bit, although we seem to be having some issues with the Googles tonight.
There's a lot of problems.
Yeah, unfortunately, this has been a common issue with a number of different shows. And there's a number of shows, getting way off track here, but there's a number of shows that are actually switching to some other services like this new one called Blab.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So kind of interesting. I wonder what's going to happen long term, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Are you going to start blabbing it?
No, I don't think we're going to go to Blab because there's a number of other issues with Blab that prevent us from going that route. But, we don't know. We'll have to see.
Okay.
We're always open to new things, but this was built around Google Plus Hangout on Air. Even before it was available to us, we used just Google Plus Hangouts.
Yes.
So, we're probably going to stick here until it dies, and who knows what we're going to do at that point.
Come on. It's not going to die, is it?
Google never kills anything.
It's a Google property. It's at the whim of Sergey and Larry.
Yeah.
We were Google Plus before it was cool.
That's right.
So that means we are Google Plus? Because Google Plus.
We're still waiting for it to be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll get there. Hey, in case you just joined us, this is the GeoGearHeads. Now, one of the things we do each week is we ask a question so that you have a chance to win a great prize. Last week, we asked a question. And, Walt, this is all about you.
That's my favorite thing to talk about. Me.
Oh, good. So, Walt, let's see if you can answer the question.
Okay, let's see.
We asked which episode you were on the show last.
So the last one I was on.
Mm-hmm.
Not the one prior to that, but the last one.
That's what I'm thinking. Or this could be your very last show. We don't know that yet.
That's right. So we can't count this one, is what you're saying. It's the one prior to this one. I'm going to say it was probably somewhere in the 150s. I'm feeling like a 153, 54 No, I think it was 156.
Wow.
That's what I'm going with. I'm going with 156.
That's impressive. I mean, the whole mental gymnastics you just did to come up with that.
I know.
And what were you wearing?
What was I wearing? Probably no pants as usual.
Right. That's a given.
I don't know. Hopefully I wasn't wearing the same Batman T-shirt that I'm wearing tonight.
Wait, are you really Batman?
Well, I'm Adam West Batman. I don't know if you can see him there. There he is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The only Batman, the real Batman.
Exactly.
No, I do not remember what I was wearing.
Okay.
Chris, can you tell me?
Well,
I will take that as Chris doesn't remember either.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, you just got out completely, Chris.
I wanted to keep some things secret because it really helps the relationship.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some issues here tonight.
But yeah, so it was a little while ago. I was
you are exactly right. It was episode 156.
Holy cow! That's amazing.
Is that an actual cow with holes in it?
Yes.
Or was that a Robin reference?
No. Well, both.
I see
You
how you did
gotta
that.
work in a holy here and there.
Now, the winner, we had a lot of people respond in for this question. The winner just happens to be G-Man San.
I can't believe that. That is amazing. G-Man San, the winner.
Exactly.
I think he keeps up on everything I do, so I'm not surprised. Well, we won't say that.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. You got a 100-day paid membership to project-gc.com. So congrats to him for that one.
That's pretty nice.
For those of you who are watching live, you're very lucky because you have the option of answering a live question. And that live question puts you in a drawing for a 365-day paid membership to project-gc.com. So,
all right, I'm ready.
Email ready.
I'm ready.
That's going to be titled Randomize 37. Send it to GeoGearHeads at cachemaniacs.com.
Okay.
Make sure you include your geocaching.com screen name, not Walt's name, your name. Unless you're Walt, then you have to Walt's name.
I'm putting it in right now.
Okay, very good. And the question?
What's the question?
What product was most tweeted after that last episode that Walt was on, that GGH 156? Now, Walt, I bet you can take a wild guess and answer this one correctly.
Let's see. Poopery.
Oh, pretty close, but no.
Oh, Smittens.
Yes, it was the Shittens.
Well, I kind of changed it a little bit.
Yes, you did. So make sure that in that body of the email you have your geocaching screen name, that product name, which is the answer, and make sure it's titled Randomize 37, going to GeoGearHeads at cachemaniacs.com, and have that to us in the next 25 minutes. That's 9:45 p.m. Eastern. That would be 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. What is today? Today is the 10th of September. So make sure you have that to us by then, and you could win that very awesome 365-day membership to project-gc.com. But you know what, Chris? We have yet another contest that was going on.
We've got so many contests going on, we don't know what to do with ourselves. I think, Daryl, you're... Thank you. Holy contest.
That's right.
I think you're referring to the Harebrained Scheme from the Block Party.
I am, in fact, referring to that Harebrained Scheme.
Uh-oh.
Which apparently breaks the Googles.
Yep.
It does. Now, well, it builds anticipation. That's really what I was going for. I'm looking at my processes. I don't see anything that should be causing this. Who knows? It is a Windows computer. With that being said,
You said it, I did.
The Harebrained Scheme from the Block Party. The whole idea was listen to 4 podcasts. That is this very podcast right here, GeoGearHeads. Another one called Caching in the Northwest, Land Monkey's Geocaching Adventures, and Podcacher. If you listen to all 4 of those podcasts 2 weeks ago, each one of the hosts played a snippet of audio from another one of the hosts of those shows about their favorite Fremont landmark. Now, we had a good number of people.
Ooh, the suspense thickens.
So, I am... Did I cut out again?
You did cut out.
Yes,
right
you
after
did.
you said we had a good number of people.
Elegant. I was
You know
eloquent.
what? I think here's the problem. I think we have too many mustaches on the show tonight. There's one too many. Either that or Daryl's got to grow a mustache in the next 40 minutes.
Ooh, okay, I'll work on it.
Start pushing that out, Daryl. Okay, so going back to my very eloquent, I can't speak. I should just cut out and pretend like this never happened. Okay. So we had a bunch of people who entered. Everybody got all the answers right, and each one of the 4 podcasts will be announcing their particular winner in the upcoming week. Oh, thank you, Daryl.
Thanks, Daryl.
Well, hopefully this will solve the problem. I've grown a digital mustache just for the show.
Perfect. We're triplets.
It's hard to tell us apart now.
See,
Yeah.
I was going to save it
wait.
for November.
There. Is that better?
Oh, there we go.
Who's that? Who said that? I can't see anymore. Okay.
All right. Well, while we're on this squirrel break, Liveacts says Adam West forever.
Of course. Absolutely. He is the Batman.
And he comes in with some statistics for us that the longest Roman numeral of all is 88, which has 8 characters.
Holy cow. Or
Holy Roman Empire.
numeral. Yeah.
Holy Roman Empire, Batman. Can I play Robin? You'll be
Sure.
Batman? Okay.
I have to work on my Adam West impression.
We haven't one moment to lose.
Old chum.
All right, so getting back to the harebrained contest, I gather that we're just going to...
Oh, wait. Daryl, can I ask, what's the prize for the harebrained contest? Can I
That's
ask?
a good question.
No, you're not allowed to ask.
All right.
Next.
That's a secret.
Correct.
Each podcast is looking at their own gifts. So
Ooh.
I don't
Okay.
I don't have that direct information. How's that?
Sorry.
Dum, dum, dum. But we'll find out more about that contest next week then, correct?
Ah,
I
okay.
believe so.
Excellent. So let's go back into the Wayback Machine because we had more topics, or more discussion rather, about the NeedsArchived logs. So you want to get into those?
Yes.
I'd love to, because we all decide there's times things need to be archived. So we got some more comments. This time we got the one from Deadly Grunt. And I usually trust Deadly Grunt. He's a nice guy. He responded via Google+.
Chris, I have to say, I kept thinking you were saying Deadly Grunt. But it's Dudley Grunt, right?
It's Dudley, yes.
Okay, not Deadly.
He could very well be Deadly as well.
Because that would be a perfect Batman villain name.
Deadly Grunt.
Yes.
And here I was thinking it was a Austin Powers kind of thing.
Oh, that would work too.
He's like the number 3 henchman or something.
Deadly Grunt.
Well, see, now in Batman, the henchmen never had names. They
Oh,
sometimes had numbers.
Contraire. That is false. That is false. You had Clock King had Tick and Tock.
Oh, yes.
Let's see. I could probably go through. Penguin had Sparrow. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. I've been watching the old TV show now that it's out on Blu-ray and DVD.
How
So
is the quality of Blu-ray?
they all wore very similar outfits. A black turtleneck with a bowler and white lettering. They had their names running across their chest.
Well, I mean, that way the shirts were reusable because, you go through henchmen pretty quickly.
You do. You have to, henchmen are...
Yeah.
It's hard to find those henchmen.
Well, I don't know. Each supervillain seemed to have several henchmen. So, they were kind of disposable. A red shirt on Star Trek.
There you go. Yeah, I think you're right there, Chris.
But you notice the henchman never had the elaborate outfit of the villain.
No, they needed to fade into the background a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of fading into the background, holy segue, Batman. Let's talk about Dudley Grunt. He doesn't fade into the background. He stands right out. He says, I didn't send my feedback in, but I'm not shy about posting a NeedsArchived log if a serious problem with the cache. Definitely seems to be no longer there if there's a long strings of needs maintenance and problem logs with no apparent response from the CO. He goes on to say, on a related note, this log type really needs a different name. Either needs archiving or should be archived. Didn't it used to be should be archived? The current name is a perfect example of my biggest grammatical pet peeve. And me reading his words is probably another one of his pet peeves.
Well, we'll give you a little break from reading then with a little bit more feedback from Liveacts, who piped up with Catwoman has two henchmen for Joker called Giggler and Laugher.
Yes.
See, I thought they were all generic. Now I've got to go watch the episodes again. Is the Blu-ray good quality, or is it more of a Bat-ray?
No, it is. No, it's actually it's very good. They did a total remaster on the entire series, so it's very clear, crisp, sharp, and they did a lot of color correcting too. So no, it looks really nice. I highly recommend it.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's very good.
Back to geocaching. Wetcoaster also sent in an email about this whole NeedsArchived argument, or discussion, however you want to put it. Just to add my 5 cents to the discussion, because pennies have been discontinued in Canada, I would like to see the needs to be archived option go away. To replace this, I think that after 5 DNFs, it would automatically be put into the following state. Quote, this cache is temporarily unavailable. Read the logs below. Read the logs below to read the status for this cache. End quote. This should become a flag to the reviewer for the area and a warning to other cachers that there's an issue with this cache. Something like Munzie in their automatic maintenance mode after 2 consecutive unable to locate. After 1 month in maintenance mode, the Munzie is automatically archived.
I could see something like that potentially, but I think the problem is that if you have a high difficulty cache where the idea is that it's going to be difficult to find, you will get DNFs on it even though it's there. So I mean, for something for like a low difficulty, I could see this potentially being useful, but something for a high difficulty, I can't see it automatically going into I don't know, an archive state, but a unavailable state, state or needs maintenance.
A disable or whatever. Yeah, I think there's a lot of merit to that, but I don't think it's going to be quite as easy to get a good answer to the question. It's just that you're going to have to do some weighting of some type. And anytime someone finds it, it's probably going to reset. Anytime the owner goes out and checks on it, you'd have to reset it as well. But I don't know, because I'm not really thrilled with the way Munzie does it. Among other things, what happens if he's got this 5 DNFs? What happens if it's one day you get a group of like 10 people, each with their own account that goes out? well, it's instantly archived. So you have to do like some kind of waiting.
And potentially another way of handling it would be for geocaching to send an owner an email after a certain number of DNFs, particularly if the owner hasn't logged into geocaching in a certain time period. That might be a better approach before automatically putting it into an unavailable state.
Yeah, I think what we're kind of saying at this point is we really need some better way to alert the reviewers of something not being right before it goes into the Needs Archive, right, which is the first time that they really get clue as to something's not right.
And and also there's also the issue of like particularly newer geocachers hitting that Needs Archived as opposed to a DNF as well. I mean, sometimes you'll get that where the flag gets set just by somebody who's new.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I've been looking for caches around my workplace simply to fill in my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And there's several that are close by, and I look at them, and there's a string of 5, 6, 7 DNFs on them. Well, it's obviously not there. So my lunchtime cache find has to have a larger and larger radius in order to fill out my calendar.
And the DNFs are from other cachers that who should be able to find it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. With a couple of thousand finds apiece, so they know what they're looking for.
Sure.
Well, let's move on to some more feedback. This comes from Strident UK via Twitter. The UK equivalent of the Brass Cap cache by the same cache owner is Ye Old Survey Monuments, and he gave a URL which we'll include in the show notes. He also mentioned a good page about UK benchmarks, so we'll put that in the show notes as well. And an interesting way of pulling down waymark information when you're out and about. So if you wanted to grab some of those waymarks to do offline in the field or just get the alerts, he's got a website to help us out with that as well.
Very nice.
I have a question about this, since you brought up brought up the benchmarks. Do you guys do benchmarks?
No, and yes.
I was going to say yes and no.
Them.
Yeah, exactly. If we happen to be near one, okay. I went ahead and downloaded the app that we talked about on the last show, and I have that and looked at benchmarks nearby. I thought I should go get one. I haven't done it yet, but I've thought about it, so that's at least something.
Yeah, I've actually gone so far as planning to go and find one of those benchmarks and then being rained out.
And I mean, I didn't see last show, but if we can talk about like why would you want to go and do a benchmark? I as a geocacher, I mean, I know I can go out and find a benchmark, and there's they keep track of how many you found, but it seems like kind of this off to the side, other kind of other type to find that doesn't get included in your geocaching finds. So why bother with it?
Essentially, it's just a different game, and it's kind of, let's maybe refer to it as like a Munzie in some ways, because you're going out and finding something that's not placed there specifically for us. Well, right. Munzies would be, but not something that you have to worry about, getting taken away as being on someone's private property, not supposed to be there. But I'm not really giving any good reasons, am I?
No, I mean, but I guess it leads back into the discussion of virtuals and why virtuals, were taken away. It seems like that's kind of in the same arena, but obviously it's still a geocaching type for the ones that are still around. But it just seems strange that we have this like kind of outlier, but something that is much, that brings you to sometimes a very interesting spot, which is what virtuals used to do without the need for a benchmark.
Well, the thing that I really kind of want to get into with the benchmarks are not the ones that are on geocaching.com, but they're the more historical ones, like we talked about on the show with the railroad benchmarks, where those are off by miles at times, but they'll take you to little bits of interesting history, essentially.
Sure.
But Wet Coaster says benchmarks, a different game only for the U.S.
Oh, he's riding his Canadian bias again. No.
Why don't we move on to our
we
next
know there are
bit of
brass
feedback.
caps in Alberta, so...
Oh, and we lost
He's
him
gone.
again.
And here I am again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yay, he's back.
This is annoying. We're going to go on, right?
Well, actually, before we do that, we got
Okay.
one more comment in the live Q&A from Andy, who says, some challenges ask you for a certain number of a certain kind of benchmark, so that's a good reason to do them as well, which
Oh, there you go.
I do remember mentioning that on the show, but I don't necessarily want to mention that as a good reason to go benchmarking at this point, especially because the future of those challenge caches may be in jeopardy.
How very true. Okay, we have an email from Liveacts, and I'm going to try to get through it without cutting out, but I'm making no promises.
Good luck.
So Liveacts, who knows Roman numerals and Batman, he could be a supervillain. We're not sure.
He's got
He
a great
goes on-
name for it.
Yeah, I think so. I wonder if he has henchmen. Anyway, let's go on. He says, do you know if there's a list somewhere of data, of what data is captured in a Pocket Query file? I know that things like cache ID, coordinates, and descriptions are captured, along with a certain number of logs. However, something that iCaching said has me confused. According to its online help, favorite points are not included. I thought they were since I've seen them in GSAC. If you know of a list or happen to know what's included, it would be greatly appreciated. I keep thinking someday I'll write a Python script to analyze a GPX file, but I haven't gotten to it yet.
Well, what I did is actually open my GPX file from one of my Pocket Queries to check out what's actually there. And unfortunately, I couldn't find a good reference online, and which really bothered me because I remember about 5 or 6 years ago finding some good references talking about what's in each of the different versions of the GPX files.
And that's what we need to talk about, Daryl. There are different versions.
Right. But what's important, I can't even find the switch. Remember there used to be a switch on geocaching.com, and this only applies to premium members, that would give you the option to switch whether you wanted a 1 or a 1.1 file.
Yes. It's not there. I
can't find
don't
it.
look. One of those
If-
things that,
Yeah,
why do
if
we
it's
need it?
there, I can't find it after the redesign. It's not where it used to be. But it looks like they got rid of that option, and it looks like it's just the 1.0 version, because that's the version that's compatible with everything. The 1.1 gave you some problems. So here's what I found that's in there. You have the WPT, which is the coordinates, the time, which is the date the cache was listed, the name, which is the GC number, description, which includes the name of the cache, the hider, type, difficulty, and terrain in a single text string, the URL that links back to geocaching.com, the name of the URL, which is actually just the cache name, the type of cache, then it goes into the geocaching.com specific tags. And, because GPX is not specific to geocaching, it's a general location file, but then there's the extensions on this XML format that are Groundspeak specific. So you have the Groundspeak cache, which is the active info, the name, which is, of course, the name of the cache, placed by, owner, type, container, which is just the size, the terrain, country, state, the short description, long description, encoded hints. Then we get into the log. So each log has just 4 different strings. It has the date, the type, which is found, DNF, etc., the finder, which is just a cacher's name, the text of the log. Then it also has the travel bugs, and each travel bug in a cache will have the travel bug, which is the TB number, and the name, which is just the name. That's it. But Liveacts does say that he has children and wants to know if those count as henchmen.
Ha! Of course they do.
If you raise them right and you have matching T-shirts, yes.
You do have to get black turtlenecks, that's for sure. But regarding the favorite points, perhaps those are coming in from API calls versus GPX files from inside GSAC.
Well, and that's the case with the attributes as well.
So that's perhaps why he's seeing them in GSAC if you've made the API calls out to get caches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Brad is saying that there is a GPX option, but he claims to have attached an image, but unfortunately we don't have that right now because the live Q&A doesn't support images.
I went through the Pocket queries, and there's just GPX or LOC option. So.
In terms of there's no version number, is what you're saying.
That's a user preference. That's not going to be in the individual Pocket queries. It's something you set globally.
Ah, gotcha.
And I said, Brad, I meant Yellow Jeeperman. We've actually run into more than once.
I know exactly who you meant.
Yes.
Me too.
Okay. I do have a handy little image here, and it's under Preferences. So you have to go into your account settings. So you go to Settings, Account Settings, or under Account Settings, you'll have the account settings on the left side. Very bottom one is Preferences, which is where you set your language, your time zone. It has the distance, and the very bottom there is GPX version. So that's where you'll set it.
Okay.
Yeah, I still haven't found account settings.
It's go to your name.
Yep.
Up in the top bar.
That'd be Bad Cop.
Oh, man. Okay. Now I'm tracking.
Okay. So yeah, it's under the little arrow right next to your name under the new design, and a lot of this is quite frankly just us getting used to the redesign, because for what was it, 11, 12 years we pretty much had the same design, and the available options are only version 1 and version 101.
Daryl, since you are the keeper of all knowledge, do you know what the differences are between version 1 and version 101 or 101?
I don't for certain, but my recollection is the 101 is the version that introduced the attributes along with the favorite points that causes problems with many devices, including most of the GPSRs.
So what do you have yours set to?
I keep mine on 1 period, just 1.0.
I have mine on 101.
Compatible.
I have mine on 101.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe you should try 101, see what happens.
Well, at this point, I think 101 would work just fine for me. But I leave it because I just drag and drop onto the GPSR, and I still have some of those old GPSRs sitting over here for testing and whatnot.
Ooh, could you hold one up?
I could, but I'd have to go and grab it first.
Well, you said they were sitting right there.
Well, sitting right there, just out of reach. I could also grab a Windows phone for you if you like.
No thanks.
Well, let's move on while we're doing that. Wet Coaster emailed that his wife, Greenwords, just got a request from a cacher in the Netherlands. She released the Traveler/Companion to the Airstream trailer TB that she got as part of the swag at last year's block party. This cacher really likes it and would like to keep it. Any advice? Now, Chris, I know that you had some Windows updates that were actually causing the problem, so we have to apologize for the Googles. It wasn't the Googles' fault. It was Microsoft's fault.
Yeah.
But you had talked with Wet Coaster about this one.
Yeah, we...
Oh, and the stupid Microsoft Winders are causing him issues. All right, try that again, because Windows kicked in and kicked you out. As
Walt pointed out, I am the bad cop. Thanks for pointing that out, Walt. I sometimes forget.
Well, that's why I'm here, Chris. That's why I'm here.
And I said that Weckhoster and I have had some emails back and forth on this. It's Greenword's travel bug. She
The Google's just really doesn't want him to share this with us.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, here I am. Okay. Wow. This is compelling audio tonight, folks.
Microsoft has you so lost you don't even know where you are.
I can't stop the sucker.
Yeah, you'd think they were using Apple Maps or something.
Okay, it's Greenword's travel bug. She's the owner. She gets to do what she wants with it.
Yeah.
So,
now he did reply in the Q&A that the guy in Holland kept it and put it into his collections.
Let's go hunt him down.
Yeah. Now this is actually a good point. If you mark that traveler as collectible on the travel bug page, that is saying that they can keep it for themselves.
That is so confusing to me.
Yes.
There was a time I understood it, and that time has well passed. I can't keep up with this. Is it collectible, meaning that it's for me, or is it for others, or I don't know.
That's one of the many reasons I really dislike travel bugs. Just one of the many reasons.
Just one.
Actually, the main reason is spending a lot of money on a travel bug, releasing it, and never seeing it again. That's probably my main reason for not liking travel bugs.
Yeah, that's a big problem. But it is a fun aspect of the game, and like for our
I guess it's kind of like gambling. Will I ever see this travel bug again?
Yeah. Well, and the trick is you can't put something out that you ever want to see back again and that you don't expect to see ever again.
Well, I mean, I guess I hear what you're saying. I'm talking more about like following it going somewhere. Like maybe not ever seeing it again physically, but
right.
I mean,
yeah. Well, and that's what I'm talking about as well. Is not just seeing it back in your hands, but you have to be willing to say, okay, I lose it and it's gone. Or, I release it and it's gone. It's never going anywhere again. Because that does happen quite frequently. And a lot of it is, it's not intentional. It's, oops, I just dropped it down the crack in the sidewalk and it fell into the.
I'm glad you said in the sidewalk.
Yeah. No, I've lost some in the other crack. I'm just. Oh wait. Wait. What are we talking about?
No, I actually had one that somewhere I lost it between the driver's seat of my car and the park and grab. I have no idea where it went.
Well, I mean,
I
also,
bad. And I offered up the one of my coins to that cashier as an apology and a replacement. But it's the kind of thing that it happens. No matter how careful you are, something can still happen.
Sometimes it even falls into the bottom of your geocaching bag and never comes out of it again.
Yeah, we get a lot of those that we hear about. Oh, I've had this in the bottom of my cache bag and it just resurfaced, or I found this in the bottom of the car as I was cleaning out to sell it.
Right.
So there's a lot of that. But why don't we move on to some email from Tangent, because that's going to segue into something else I want to talk about.
Tangent sent an email that says, I ran into a mention of this on Engadget, a site that it's plus.codes. It's a site that displays Google's internal coordinate system used on maps, a unique location derived from a short string of letters and numbers. If nothing else, it might make an interesting core to a puzzle cache.
I like that idea. Walt, I could see you doing some of your caches like that.
I went out and checked it out. It is an interesting idea. That's for sure. I mean, it's always nice to come up with a new type of puzzle for a geocache. I mean, I like all kinds of geocaches. Don't get me wrong. I like but a good puzzle cache is really good.
Yeah, and this is just yet another option for throwing something into the mix. You could just do something like put that code up and hey, you have to figure out what that is, or I could see actually trying to embed that in through some kind of cipher as well. So I don't really know.
Yeah. So that way you work on the cipher and you come up with a string of letters and numbers that aren't English or aren't something that you can easily translate. You're mean. I like you.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's something that could lead to yet another layer of complexity. So everyone watch out, because it could be coming to a cache near you.
We mentioning puzzle caches. We have a local geocacher named Darth Leviosa, and he just put out a geocache that's a puzzle cache where if you figure out the puzzle and you're the first to find, and you can prove that you actually solved the puzzle rather than brute forcing it, he'll give the first finder of this, who's actually solved the puzzle, $100.
Wow.
Holy cipher, Batman.
Yeah. Darth Leviosa.
I assume it's a tough puzzle.
Yes, he is known for his tough puzzles. He is well known in the Chicagoland area for his excellent, difficult puzzles. And I'll see if I can find the GC number while we're talking, so we can give that out if anybody's interested.
All right. Well, I'll move on to the email that we received from Tangent that actually I wanted to talk about a little bit. He says, also, I'm suggesting adding a link on GeoGearHeads.com to our TB run, which I'm losing terribly. My tag got abducted and taken to Central California. Actually, that might be Canada. It's just CA. But in any case, sorry to hear that your tag got abducted, and I like that idea. I've been actually trying to think of a way to do that, so I don't want to promise, but I will do my best that by the end of the weekend, GeoGearHeads.com will have a link to the patron travel bug race. And, I'm really annoyed to hear that it got abducted, because, we made these tags up with GX Proxy custom so that it has your cacher name, whoever got it, the GeoGearhead logo, the tracking and everything, and it's in a race. And that's all it really is. And, you've got the little racer tag from them that says, I'm not a trade item, please move me on. So, we really did think that these things would be moving well and not get stolen, but, like we said,
we labeled them as well as we could.
Yeah. But like we were just talking about, you're always going to have a possibility that these things get lost. So, them be the breaks. But it is a lot of fun to watch these things move around.
It is. I mean, and that's where my disappointment comes in, is when they turn up missing.
Absolutely.
Especially if you spent some cash on them.
Yeah. Well, I really don't recommend people put the travelers into, or the geocoins rather, into the caches, because they are so valuable and they don't fit in a lot of caches, and that's a lot of the problem right now. We don't have a lot of caches that we can move the travelers between, and it seems that most of the travelers I have are moving from events to cachers and cachers to cachers. There's not a whole lot of movement between caches anymore.
Right.
And Liveacts gives us the update that his has been circulating around Washington.
And I assume Washington State, because I put a whole bunch of trackables into a single cache. They've all been taken by different people. About, several people took 5 each. And, mine's been jumping around caches in the local area, and I'm thinking, well, that's not the goal. I'm glad it's moving, don't get me wrong. But move it east.
All right, and you mentioned the Darth Leviosa puzzle cache with a reward. Did you happen to find that?
I did indeed. It is GC60H65. So again, GC60H65. That's $100 for 100 Darth Leviosa's 100th hide.
Nice.
And for my 100th hide, I thought I would make things more interesting by offering a $100 prize to the first person to solve and find this puzzle cache. In order to claim the $100 prize, I must receive an email from one person with an explanation of how they solved the puzzles, and they must be the first person to find the physical cache, as evidenced by a picture of their caching name and the day's date written or stamped in the FTF section of the physical log.
Now, if he was a really nice guy, he'd give $100 to the first 100 finders.
There you go. I think that's going to be his. That's probably going to be for his 200th hide.
Oh.
Maybe it'll be $200 for the first 200 finders.
I'm going to head out to Chicago.
Yep, there you go. So check
for that ticket.
Check that out. And as of today, this was placed on August 20th, 2015. As of today, there are no finders.
That makes it about 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
21 days? 3 weeks with no finders.
Yeah, so it must be a tough cache.
Yes. So, yeah, go ahead and check that out.
And, of course, we'll link to it in the show notes as well. All right, Chris, what's the next item up on the agenda here? A Windows update?
That's it. It's a Windows update.
Daryl, don't put me on the spot.
Oh, see, and I was going to blame Windows on you, or for you.
I have you've heard of shy bladder. This is a shy computer.
So it's the computer trying to protect you from yourself.
Yes, exactly. Because I could say something that I could regret later. And I've been saying things while we're not on the air that I will regret later.
Because you are the bad cop.
I am. Hey, via the geocaching blog, there's a brand new souvenir for International Earth Cache Day. That's October 11th, 2015, and who doesn't love a good souvenir? Holy,
nice.
Remembering that, man. This is awarded to Earth caches logged that very day, October 11th only. Interesting paragraph in the blog post says, if you're using the free geocaching intro app, finding and logging an Earth cache is easy. Just send your answers to the cache owner via the message center. Visit the search page to find an Earth cache near you.
I did think that was kind of interesting because there seems to be a little bit of a backlash against the message center and a lot of backlash against the intro app. So very interesting that they're pushing that so hard.
You know, I downloaded a geocaching app on Android for a friend, and it was the intro with an in-app purchase to pay for the full. It didn't say intro. It was the geocaching app, but, it was the intro.
Yeah, well, and that's...
I have to put that in quotes. It's just the way it works.
Yeah, my understanding is that's what their new strategy is going to be, is it's just going to be the one app, and there were a couple of different speculations on how that was going to work, because there were some answers from geocaching that basically said they weren't sure yet, but they were looking to give the premium members better experience. So some of the speculation was that app might be fully unlocked if you paid the $30 a year. Other speculation was that it was going to go for the freemium model, where it's either another subscription or where it's just a pay once the $10 or whatever they decide to charge to unlock the full features.
Interesting. So would you pay the $30 through the app to acknowledge it, or?
I'm thinking that's just if you have a premium membership.
Okay. It
unlocks it. But you can always purchase the premium membership through the app, which I like doing it that way because I get to use the iTunes cards in my case that I get at 20% off when they're on sale.
Right, the discount iTunes cards.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that and you currently have the paid membership another way and then you want to switch to that, it takes about a month before it finally gives up and says, okay, you're really not a premium member anymore. And then you can go ahead and sign up with the iTunes card.
It does. It takes it a little while, so it is a little bit of a nuisance. Walt, did you have any thoughts on the apps?
I didn't really have a thought on the apps, but I do have a question about, or I guess a comment on souvenirs. I know for a while that geocaching was, or Groundspeak was downplaying souvenirs, and this was like a couple of years ago. And it seems now that they've, at least over the past year and a half, have really come back with, providing souvenirs for various types of events, like International Earth Cache Day and certainly some of the others. I guess my question is, do you think that geocaching will ever make souvenirs available for a member doing an event? Like, for instance, you're having an event, you want to give the people who show up to your event a souvenir. It seems like this is maybe a nice revenue model for Groundspeak to say, like, hey, give us $10 or $15 or whatever the amount is, and a design for a souvenir, and you can now have a souvenir for you can provide a souvenir for the people who showed up at your event.
Yeah, kind of like the travel bug model in a way, where you pay for the tracking numbers.
Right. It seems like that would be not only a way of promoting more events, but getting people to show up for events as well.
Yeah. I like that idea.
That for megas.
Yeah, I like that idea, but I think they're going to keep that for megas only. I would be interested, though, in if they might provide that as featured caches on the blog. If you've done one of these caches that's notable, you get a souvenir for doing, a blog featured cache.
Yeah,
Let me
that'd be.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Chris.
Let me throw a monkey wrench in. I see I have souvenirs for the worldwide flash mobs.
Yes, some of those did have the souvenirs. Not all of them.
A mega event.
No, but that's a specialty kind of thing. And we have the Pi Day that got its own souvenir.
Mm-hmm.
We have the International
Geocaching promoted.
Right, and that's the thing, is there's certain days when you have multiple events happening on that same day all over the world that they've done the souvenirs.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a precedence for the events, but it seems to be they're trying to hold those back for the big events and make those special.
I guess,
like 31 Days of August. How special was that?
Well, and that really, to me, devalued the souvenirs.
Yeah.
So you notice that they haven't done anything like that again. So I believe that it's one of those situations. They realized the 31 souvenirs devalued the souvenirs, because you could easily double your souvenirs in the course of 31 days. So I don't know that they're going to be as anxious to put out as many souvenirs, because they've seen what too many souvenirs can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like this idea from Yellow Jeeper Man. We need a Back to the Future souvenir for October 21st, 2015. I like that idea very much.
That is an excellent idea.
So, hey.
I have seen a few events already pop up.
Groundspeak, get on that.
Yep. Yeah. They have to figure out how to get some money from, is it Universal that did Back to the Future? They have to figure out how to just wring some money out of Universal, I think, for that.
And the DeLorean Motor Company.
Yes, there you go. Yes. Well, then they'll really have to go back to the past.
Yeah, they'll get right on that after they build the time machine.
Yep.
So let's move on to another article that might be of value to a lot of our audience, since they are so techie. And this came to me from an Engadget article that EFF has a new browser extension. This is not all that new. It's almost a month old now. But Privacy Badger 1.0 is a browser extension for Chrome and Firefox that prevents the tracking of your activity on websites by the advertisers through the super cookies and the browser fingerprinting. So it is from the Electronic Frontier Foundation, who's all about this privacy. And of course, I went and installed it because I don't especially like those super cookies or the browser tracking, mostly because it gives me really, really stupid ads. I wouldn't mind it quite so much if I didn't keep getting the ads for the thing that I just finished buying for like 3 weeks. So I did run through, and I found this kind of interesting. The Engadget site, on this article, I went there, 47 items were blocked. You go to Google, only 4. Yahoo, 6. Facebook, 7. Twitter, I was amazed, 1. Twitter only had 1 item blocked. geocaching.com 7, opencaching.us 8, Podcacher, give you an idea 2, project-gc.com 15, so they're kind of high on that, and I can't imagine why.
Yeah, they save settings though through the cookies.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that I worry is that you might get some false positives on stuff like this. So
how many for opencaching.com?
None, because I don't think it will stop there long enough for me to count it. Our site, our Cachemaniac site, has 8. The GeoGearHeads site has 3. I'm not sure what all of those are, so I want to look into that. Geosnippets.com has 26. And then just for comparison, I went to one of those famous sites for adult videos.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure
had
just comparison.
7. What does it rhyme with?
It's very similar to YouTube.
Okay, gotcha.
Mostly because that's the only one I could think of.
How does I haven't used this. I haven't used this browser, but I was reading the other day that YouTube had, or Google via YouTube, had started detecting that these like ad blockers were being used, and rather than giving you, and it kind of got around the ads that roll before a YouTube video. And because of the ad blocking, they were able to, rather than, I guess again, get around it and still show an ad, but not give you the option to skip it after 3 seconds. They made you watch the whole thing because they could tell that you had ad blocking software or ad blocking browser being used, or an extension. Have you seen anything of that?
This is not an ad blocker. You still get the ads with this.
Okay.
What you're stopping is the tracking.
Oh, just the tracking? Okay.
There are some sites that throw up warnings that you are going to have a diminished experience because you have this tracking blocker, because it is blocking some of their cookies.
Okay.
Especially some of the bigger entities, I think, need to use the super cookies because they're across multiple domains and everything.
Sure.
But the ads will still show up, and one of the interesting things I'd heard about, not that I've actually seen it, but a site that if it detects an ad blocker, switches you to Comic Sans.
Oh, nice.
I love Comic Sans. Why isn't the entire web in Comic Sans?
Indeed.
So if that's the case, you should go and turn on the ad blocks and visit all of these sites that are switching the CSS code to Comic Sans when the ad blocker is enabled.
The sad thing is there are people who actually like Comic Sans, so it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal to them.
Wet Coaster wants to know if the cookies have capes.
Ooh. Let's see. There wasn't a cookie villain.
Because Cookie would be one of the malls of one of the villains.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be a mall name.
Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my.
Oh,
right,
well, I don't know if either one of you were aware, but just yesterday, Apple had a big announcement.
What?
Yeah. You missed it, Walt?
Yeah,
you were probably out geocaching or watching Batman.
Indeed.
Both of which are good things to do.
Or looking at my Android phone.
I was going to say both of those things have more surprises than yesterday's Apple event did.
That's true. Now, were you watching Batman on the Android phone while you were out geocaching?
Sure.
Yes, I knew it. Okay. I stumped you there, didn't I? Holy multitasking. Okay, let's. iOS 9 is going to roll out on September 16th. Now, Apple announced several things, but one of them was that iOS 9 would roll out on the 16th. Mm-hmm. And really, the most advantage you're going to get out of iOS 9 is if you go buy a new phone. Sorry. There's going to be some things, but it's really going to have a bunch of nice features with the new phone, so there you go, spend all your money. As with all major updates, here's your public service announcement from GeoGearHeads. Wait at least a week. And don't run your updates when you're listening to, or even worse, hosting the podcast.
Yes, that would be bad.
I remember when iOS 8 came out, I manage a network at a church and school, and our entire network came to a screeching halt when it seemed like every one of the kids went to go get the update. So we've simply blocked Apple updates. Ha!
Nice.
Go do it at home. I am the bad cop.
That's right.
So keep an eye out for any possible issues, and wait for 9.0.1 because they're going to find things and fix them. And you can expect a number of apps to stop working correctly, especially those without recent updates. Like your OpenCaching.com app may stop working completely.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's already stopped because the API is gone.
I wonder, I mean, I don't know if I still have it on my phone. I don't think I do. Be interesting to see if you could actually still use it.
I deleted it a while ago because, you know, why do I want it on my phone when it doesn't work? But
I'm just one of those guys that will keep things around like that.
Well, I still have the package.
Yes, I have it on my computer. I also have the geocaching challenges app on my computer, and I've downloaded that just because I could sync it to my phone, and you know, it basically says, no.
Liveacts says that he sometimes waits 2 years to update iOS.
You know, that may not be a bad thing.
It might not be. Of course, then you can't get a new phone.
Well, there are ways to go about that.
No, you're not going to be able to put iOS 8 on a 6S.
Why not?
Whole new processor, whole new camera, and everything. It's not going to support it. Although that said, someone probably will figure out a way to hack it if they really want to.
Let us know, Liveacts. We know you're going to do that.
All right. Well, we're over an hour now for this episode, so we better wrap it up. But we got a whole bunch more stuff, including a new Pokemon game, some ruggedized battery packs for your phone, unlocked phones, and speedier phones that we want to talk about. So we'll save that stuff for the patron show.
Oh, you're not giving those away?
No, we're not going to give that stuff away. We have something we're giving away in just a minute. But Walt, can you hang out with us for the patron show?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Oh, sure.
Those are always so much fun. So anyone who's a patron, you should be getting the Google Plus invite to join us for that one in probably about 20 minutes or so. Give us some time to actually, you know, take some breaks and get that started up. But we do have to give away the live question prize, and I already did that while we were waiting for Windows updates in the background. So, Liveacts, congratulations. You'll be getting that email from me with the 365-day membership to project-gc.com.
Oh, that is sweet.
It is very, very cool. I love that website.
Yeah, nice.
So you will have all kinds of resources now to keep him occupied with his stats. And much more.
Nothing like good stats.
Give his stats to him, stat.
All right. Well, thanks, World, for joining us for this one. Before we leave, is there anything you wanted to plug?
No.
All right.
I'm like George Clooney on the first episode of Stephen Colbert. I have nothing to plug.
Well, and if you haven't already, you can go check out the most recent episode, which was at the West Bend Cache Bash of Chicago Geocacher Podcast.
Yes. And we had one just prior to that as well, like the week before.
That's true. So there's 2 episodes from this year for you guys to check out.
That's right. We're doing 2 a year now.
Hey, I like this plan. Makes it a lot easier to produce.
Daryl, should you and I go to a 2-a-year plan?
I'm thinking of that biannual.
Yeah,
there you
I
go.
Like it.
It's the way to go.
Maybe not.
It's the way to do it.
Maybe not, because it's a little bit more difficult for us to get to a mega event together.
Then one every 2 years.
That might work.
That might work.
There you go.
I'm not sure we'd have any subscribers anymore, but that might work.
Well, you know, we'll make the show like 6-7 hours long.
That's what I was just about to say that, Chris. You just need a longer show.
There we go.
And we'll have you on every show because, you know.
Well, if it's every 2 years, count me in.
Oh, Daryl, don't move so much. Your mustache can't keep up.
Oh, no.
Now, I said at the beginning of the show, and just to bring things all the way around, each week we have a question, so you get a cool little prize. And we're going to shake it up a little this week. For question 194, we want your questions instead of your answers. So send an email to geogearheads@cachemaniacs.com with the title Question 194. You can put that in Roman numerals if you like, and send your geocaching.com screen name and a question you'd like answered by RockChalk, the Community Volunteer Support Coordinator for geocaching.com, but more importantly, our guest for next week. We're not going to be able to use all of the questions on the show, but we'll pick some of the better ones to drop into the queue to be answered. Meanwhile, your name will go into the pool for a chance to win a prize from coinsandpins.com. Just have that email, question 194, with your question and geocaching.com screen name to geogearheads@cachemaniacs.com by 6 p.m. Pacific on October 15th. That's a Tuesday this time, to make sure we get it in just a little bit early so we can get all those processed. Again, 6 p.m. Pacific, October 15th, which is 9 p.m. Eastern for you guys out there.
Well, actually, maybe we have to convert to Central for him since he's in Chicago. That's 8 p.m. Central Time.
Okay, he's got it. Or that could be 1 a.m. on the 16th UTC.
Ooh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite kind of time.
UTC?
Universal, baby. That's the only way to go.
Why don't we all use universal time if it's truly universal?
Because it confuses too many people.
Then it's not universal.
No. See, but the thing is, everyone wants to work, like 9 to 5. So we'd all be working at the same time, and a lot of people don't like getting up in the middle of the night.
Would we really be working 9 to 5 if a certain song hadn't been written?
No, I don't think anyone really works 9 to 5.
Exactly. So get those questions into RockChalk and get your chance to win a random...
Chris, once again, I thought you said Rockjaw. I'm like, another perfect name for a Batman villain. But it's RockChalk, right?
It's RockChalk. Yes,
I've been mishearing you all night tonight.
Well, we're going to be talking with RockChalk and the Pharaoh for your chance at that random drawing.
Another great Batman villain name, the Pharaoh.
Oh, my, oh, my, oh, my. All right, well, that's going to be next week, September 17th. You can join us live at 9 p.m. Eastern, actually 9:10 p.m. Eastern, 6:10 p.m. Pacific for that, and pitch in the live Q&A. And we're going to be talking about the geocaching.com guidelines, once again, with RockChalk. Then on the 24th, we're talking with the founder and coder and everything. He's pretty much all of the hats over there, though he's not the only guy wearing a hat at project-gc.com. And we already have some great questions coming in for that one, so make sure to get your questions in for that one as well.
Does he have an accent?
He does have an accent. And you can hear it on either of the two shows that he's been on, because this is the third time we're talking with...
Nice.
Yeah, with him again, and he's always got some great information, so I'm always looking forward to those shows. Then for the first show of October, which is going to be, ironically, on the 1st, we're proud to have Craig from the West Bend Cache Bash and the Chamber of Commerce, of course.
Yes, Craig is unbelievable. What a nice guy.
He is the man for community partnerships, and that's why he's going to be on to talk with us. He's talking about those community partnerships.
Oh, you're going to have a good time with Craig. He's a nice guy.
He is. And I've only actually met him in person one time, which was the one time, of course, that I went to the West Bend Cache Bash.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder how that happened.
He has really turned that thing into a true mega.
Oh, it is quite the event. I mean, I was out there that one time, and just the little bit of caching I did in a day at West Bend just blew my mind.
Mm-hmm. And everybody from top to bottom is so friendly and helpful. It's a great mega. If you haven't been out to the West Bend Cache Bash and you're in the Midwest area, or even if you're not, because they have people flying in from Holland, they have people flying in from Germany, they've had people from all over the world hit up the West Bend Cache Bash. So definitely a must if you're in the area the second week of August.
And then, well, let's move on to the October 8th recording, which is going to be talking about caching solo, so things that you should consider if you're going out caching by yourself. Then we're happy to have yet another randomized show on the schedule, so you can take all of your random questions, like those we talked about this time, and submit them for October 15th, when we're going to do, Chris, what is this one?
There's seven characters in that one, Chris.
XXX, which Daryl goes to those websites. VIII. 38.
This one I actually know, and not just because this is 37, it's going to be the next one.
Okay.
So make sure to tune in for that one, and we're going to have the GC Doc joining us for that.
Nice.
Oh.
Now check out the Catwoman website. No, wait. Cachemaniacs website at cachemaniacs.com for more on the GeoGearHeads, including show notes from this and all our episodes.
I'm scared to go out to that Catwoman website.
Leave us feedback by calling 350-3647, by emailing GeoGearHeads at cachemaniacs.com, or through social media. Your support helps keep the Cachemaniac shows coming, so please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cachemaniac shows. GeoGearHeads is produced by Chris Umfenauer and Daryl Wattenberg. The show's copyright 2015 by Daryl Wattenberg. All rights reserved.
Cash with the Cachemaniacs.